A rock drops off a cliff that's 24 meters tall. We've got to draw a picture of this. 24 meters tall, right? So here's this rock. What time does it take to reach the ground? Velocity of impact, right? Okay, so I'm going to answer, in this video, I'm going to answer this question. Okay? So let's go from the top to the ground, right? And then it's kind of fun. We're starting at the top from rest, right? So now our initial velocity is 0. Our final is we don't know. Our acceleration is negative 9.8. Our displacement is, and be careful, right? We start here, we go down to there, right? So it's actually negative 24, okay? That's a negative sign, a big fat negative sign. Okay, it's negative because we start here and we go down. Okay, and then let's see, final velocity. I'm going to choose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use no t for that. Okay, now we got to be careful. We got to be careful here. Okay, so let's plug this in, right? The final velocity squared is 0 squared plus 2 times negative 9.8 times negative 24. Now to get rid of the square, I'm going to square root this, right? So I'm going to go, right? And then if I square root this, of course, the square goes away, right? Now, when you square root a square, you don't actually get the number, you get the absolute value of the number. So if the absolute value of negative 2 is 2, and the absolute value of 2 is also 2, right? So we're going to have to decide whether this should be plus or minus once we evaluate this expression. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to go square root. I have to type left parenthesis, right? I'm not actually going to type 0 squared because that would be silly, right? I'm going to go 2 times negative 9.8 times negative 24. Now you could leave both negatives off too. There we go. Okay, so now I'm getting that the absolute value of the final velocity is 21.688. Now, that means it could be plus 21.688 or negative 21.688. To be sure, though, this rock right before it strikes the ground is moving down. So we would say that its final velocity is negative 21.7. Okay? Now repeat, you're not going to get full credit if you don't use this convention that this is negative, that it's moving down. Okay? Let's go through that again, right? We take the square root of a square, we get the absolute value of the number. That means it could be positive 21.688 or negative 21.688. Either one, the absolute value is 21.688. We choose the negative, right, because it's going down. Some people are visual, right? Whenever we use that formula, we got to make a decision, right? It's a moral decision that will affect everything about our life from now on. Okay, and then let's see, time to reach the ground. This is a tough one. I'm going to choose, I'll tell you what, I'm going to choose to use this guy. X is VIT plus 1/2 AT squared, right? So that becomes negative 24 equals, and then the initial velocity is 0, so I'm just going to say 0, even 0 times whatever time, right? Okay, plus 1/2 negative 9.8 times t squared. And this is just like the reaction time lab, right? So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go negative 24 times 2 divided by negative 9.8. So negative 24 times 2 divided by negative 9.8. I'm just doing calculator math, right? Now I've got 4.8979, and it just keeps going, right? That equals t squared, right? So my first step here was negative 24, I multiplied by 2, divided by negative 9.8, and now I've got what t squared is. And now to get the what t is, I'm going to take the square root of that, right? So I go second square root, second answer, enter. And I get 2.213. Okay, so that's our time. This is a crucial calculation because when we're solving problems where we launch things off the cliff, you've got to be able to figure out that time. You've got to be able to solve this thing, figure out how to do that, right, to solve for this time. Every single assessment for free fall will have that on there because we've discovered kids just don't know how to do that, okay?